I entitled this film 3 Days in God's Country, even though I was a little bit south of God's Country in the Titusville and Tynesta area of Pennsylvania. But this is some of my favorite country. It's where I grew up learning how to hunt and fish. And so on the first day of the trip, I actually hiked in to a remote stream. This is a stream that, although it's stocked at its upper end and lower end, really relies mostly on stream-bred fish. And I was fortunate enough to catch a couple of stream-born rainbows on the day, as well as one nice brookie. I caught all the fish that I caught that day on a elk caddis. Um, and It's a pretty tough stream to fish. There's not a ton of fish in there, but it's a beautiful place to spend the day. Um, Here I've got the brookie on. He was the biggest fish of the day, and he was probably 7 inches or so. And like I said, and that's about the biggest you're going to get in this creek. But what a beautiful stream! I had it all to myself. I saw one guy at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was actually walking out. Other than that, had it completely to myself. So a beautiful day, and there's a picture of the brook. On the second day, I actually biked into a canyon and fished one of my favorite trout streams in Pennsylvania. I call it a big boy stream because it is a bigger body of water, and you have to know what you're doing. These aren't, just stupid trout that stock trout that are laying in a hole somewhere. So this was the first one of the day. I ended up catching on a variety of different things. Here, this guy, I believe, took the back end of the situation I usually use. I think I had a Clouser minnow on the front end, and then I was trailing a elk caddis behind it at this point. And this guy, I had a couple of bumps, wasn't able to really set the hook. And then this guy leapt on, and I was able to get him into the net in the first one of the day, and a good start to the day. And just a picture of the little rainbow. And in this same run, I mean, I kept fishing this run. I would start at the top, work my way down, come back up to the top, work my way down. This guy went a little acrobatic while he was on the line. And again, it was that tandem rig. As I said, I caught one on a Clouser. I caught one on a black and green sparkly woolly bugger, and then the rest took a muddler minnow that was being trailed behind a Clouser. And the only reason I really had it going behind a Clouser was because it's pretty deep in this section. I was trying to get down in the fly down, and I just hate fishing with split shot. So they will hit that front end Clouser, but in this case, they were taking the back end muddler. So get this guy into the net. And this, again, I had this spot to myself. An older gentleman came down later in the day, was very polite, fished down below me, didn't try to crowd me out. So when I was taking a break, I went down and told him if he wanted the fish to run, to go ahead. And he came up and he caught a rainbow in there. So I guess, karma was smiling on us. This was another one that I got in here, another rainbow. They fight pretty good in that current, and trying to get them out of that faster water so we can get them in, and of course get them into the net and then release them. I don't keep anything, so they're all CPR'd. And actually, we'll see them go back into the water here. Again, just further down in the run, and these were all over the course of several hours. I didn't catch these one right after the other. This one, I believe, is one of the ones that was attracted by that muddler. Yeah, you can see the Clouser coming out of the water. He's got the muddler in his mouth. As I said, I caught the final 3 of the day, I believe, with this muddler combo. nice fish. There was no monsters in this trip, but some nice fish. And again, they gave a real tussle out in that fast water. This is even deeper down into the run. This run goes into a really, really long pool, and then has a nice exit at the end of it. I didn't do any good on the exit this time, but I'm sure there's trout down in there, and I've caught them in the past in that run. So this guy, these were all caught on my 5-weight rod. This stream could have some bigger fish in it, so I didn't feel comfortable fishing the 3-weight, which is what I was fishing when I was fishing for those natives in the first part of the video. And he's got that clouser, or sorry, I got that muddler minnow just in the front of his mouth. Get it out of him there. And he's back into the stream. And on the last day of the trip, actually the last morning, I headed to a spot that my father used to sneak down to many, many years ago. At that time, this was a really remote stretch of this stream. Now, ironically, there's a walking path down to it. Not so much to fish this spot, but anyway, it does come past it, so it's a lot easier for people to get to. Back in the day, no one would go down here because basically the only way you could get there was by wading down the stream. So I was really happy to pick up a couple of trout here this morning. I had some hits, couldn't get them, and then as I got to the bottom end of the stretch, I was able to catch them. This time I'm trailing an elk caddis, a small elk caddis behind the clouser. Again, the clouser just to get some weight to get it down, but they were hitting the caddis, and that caddis being so small, it made it a little bit tricky to keep them hooked, but they seemed to like that. And so here I am working this same section a little while later, working it more from closer to the left side of the stream, and managed to pick up another rainbow here. So in 3 days, we caught some nice fish. Started out with some natives on the first day, and then got into rainbows on the second and third day. And those were all caught using that combo of some type of streamer and then trailing a dry fly behind it.